Hey guys, time to talk now about the Texas Jazz All-State 2015-2016 Saxophone Etude number 2. When going through and doing these, a lot of times my students think, you know, I've got the rhythms, I got the notes, it's slow, no problem. But actually the opposite is true, is that I spend more time practicing the slow etude than I do the fast ones. Because what I find is that the slow etude shows more and gives me more information about the player than just playing fast notes. The etude will show your phrasing, your dynamics, your tone, which is very important in there, breath support, overall musicality, and intonation. All these things can be shown in this etude, and it's featured through this. So practice this more than you would your other ones. But I know we always worry about getting the speed and get it up to speed. It's this etude that's the biggest one and the most important one for me. I know when I'm judging, I really want to hear how they're doing on the slow etudes, because that tells me more about the player than just playing a bunch of fast notes. Another thing is a lot of people like to put in scoops and bends and glisses and things like that. Yes, you want to do that, but I don't put that until the very end, because I want to live with this etude for a long time, just listening to it, getting my phrasing down like that, and then by the time that I put in any extra little glisses or lip bends or anything like that, it seems very organic, because I'm not forcing it, I'm not overdoing it. The music is just so much a part of me, I can add these and not make it a big deal. You want to make them sound as smooth as possible, and not like it's very planned out, and this is what it's going to sound like, you know, our head with the bends and all that. You don't want that. You want it to sound as smooth as possible. So spend more time on this than you do your other etudes. I know it seems kind of inverse thinking, going, well, this is the easiest one. It's not. Ballads and the slow songs are actually the hardest one. Even when you're doing your regular all-state stuff, the slow ones, spend a lot more time within that. In a moment, I'm going to go through and I'm going to play it twice for you. The first time, I'm going to go through and I'm going to play what I call sort of the guide tones of the etude. It's almost like the bare stripped down melody of the important notes and going through that. On regular standards, we have the lyrics to help us by, but on etudes like this, we sort of have to dig it out ourselves, pull out what is the most important parts of it and how we're going to phrase this, because there's a lot of notes and it can be confusing about where should I phrase this. So I dig it out and I just go the core essentials. So as you go through and listen to the first time through, you'll notice tons of notes are gone. Core notes. Now, does this mean these are the only ones as dictated by the composer, Russell Haidt? No, these are my interpretation of it. He could probably come up and if he gave something, he could let us know more about what his guide melody is within this, because everything else is on top of the melody, just ornamentation. So you got your guide melody and you got your ornamentation. So I try to strip it down, quarter notes, half notes, you know. Occasionally I think I have a couple of eighth notes, but nothing that important. It's all about where is the line going and stripping it down. Then I go through and I play it as written. And excuse me, as you notice as I play it as written, that I'm not adding any glisses, I'm not adding lip bends, I'm not, you know, anything like that, because I haven't lived with this long enough. I need to spend much more time before I really start adding in those that makes musical sense. Because the more you play with it, you start seeing where the line's going, then you can add the extra stuff in there and it makes musical sense. All right? So I've got those two clips on that. Now let's actually take a look at the music. So as we look at the music now, we have the Saxophone Etude number 2 within this, and there are certain, you can sort of see my guide tones that I've kind of marked in there with the triangles if they come through, and everything else you just have to determine, is it going toward somewhere or is it coming from somewhere within this. For example, this right in here, this is kind of leading into this, going through. Little music motif. I like bringing this out and then this, and notice how I come in trying to separate these two. That's my personal thing. Not everybody would agree, but he's got ba-da-da, ba-da-da. I like comparing those two and then restarting the line. For me then, this is like a pickup. The B flat's like a pickup through here. Little steps, and then this whole thing is ba-da-da. The G and the D are just ornamentations, and this is just kind of an extension through this. Lead in, going through, coming back, going down within this, all within the harmonic availability. And you got, notice how it's the third resolves down to the fourth there, but the nice half steps, you want to bring the half steps down again, another half step from here leading into that, ba-da-da-da. And this is just a little afterthought, almost an extension. The idea is already completed, but it's just something that, oh yeah, by the way, so they're going through on that. Okay, let me stretch this down just a little. Sorry for the bumpy. There. Okay, so we got just the afterthought leading in, little pickups into a little chromaticism going through, another lead in, and for me, I'm so sorry that I keep wiggling these things. Is that so? The line here kind of ends here, but then this is just an extension as it resolves to. It's a 2 flat 2 to the 1 that this resolves here. Just an extension. Notice how the C flat and the B are the same note. So it just resolves, extension. Going through, and I just lead into it, not a big deal. Repeated motif, B da 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 dee da 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 dee da 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 da. B da 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 da. So this is a pickup into there. B da 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 da. And this whole bar, the first 3 beats are all the same thing. This arpeggio just spelled out with note above. B da dee da dee da dee da. Going through. Little surrounding. B. There's the, for me, there's the big note coming down to there. Lead in, build up. These are just kind of chord tones. Ba da da dee da. B da da dee da. So the important note for me is that B natural, which is again that carryover. So if you notice how both times when he has the D, D flat, C, that he has that C flat and then repeats it later in the bar. So he's like anticipating that, but then it's resolved. Within this, it's not a big deal. I don't highlight this G, I don't highlight the D because the important note is there. So these are all just ornamentations, as it were. Because you want to keep it nice and fluid and going through it. Notice how when I played it, I just kind of slurred a little. For the most part, I did a lot of slurring because you don't want to do a lot of tonguing in this etude because even though it looks it, you want to keep it as smooth as possible. Okay, so as long as you don't do anything too weird on the articulation, you should be okay. Weird articulation would be like heavy tonguing every single 16th note. That shouldn't work. If you're not sure about that, go back and look at my Jazz Basics article that I have online, and maybe I'll put the link in down below. Is that we don't tongue the 16th notes, whether it's in fast swing or in ballads. We just want to keep it smooth as possible. All right. This interpretation that I have, sorry about that, my fan. This interpretation is only one person's. Is this the only one there is? No. Is this should be the only one you listen to? No. You should listen to many inputs and go into it, whether you're a band director, your lesson teacher, listen to many inputs and try to do it. But overall, spend a lot of time on this. If you don't spend time on this, it's going to sound very, very immature. And that's what we're looking for when we're judging these. Not can you play the notes, can you play the rhythms, because it's pretty much similar, straight rhythms and straight notes. It's how musically can you make it? Can you be musically mature? And that's why you have to spend a lot of time in this. It's ballads are very much like cooking. It's something with a lot of ingredients in it. You have to let it simmer for a long time. If you're going through, you know, if you like the red beans and rice, man, you cook down those beans. I cook them down all day, so I just don't put it on for 30 minutes, heat it up, and say I'm done. No, you cook it down for several hours to go into it. The same applies here. Let it practice this more than the other 2 etudes. In fact, I will practice this one more than the other etudes combined. because this is the one that I have to let it simmer, let it go, and let all the extra stuff that I add to it become very organic, and that's what we're looking for. All right, so hopefully I'll have time to get to etude number 3 soon. All right, good luck.